Hello, everybody. We recently just got a new Marvel Tokon trailer revealing the Doctor Doom team, and boy, was it exciting! It was full of some fantastic surprises, and some that people had already predicted would be in the game, or you would just be crazy to think that they wouldn't make it, such as Magneto being one of them. Of course, Magneto made it into the game. It would be kind of crazy if he didn't. But that's not where the surprises come from. The real surprises come from the last two characters of Doctor Doom's team. That being the Green Goblin and Carnage. The fact that these two made it into the game is amazing. But this also throws a huge wrench into a lot of people's prediction paths, because a lot of us were on the path, including myself, of thinking that each team would have at least one female. But the Doctor Doom team proved us wrong. There is no bad guy female, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping to see somebody like Mystique or Emma Frost or even like Hela show up, and so on. But we didn't get any of them. I even predicted that potentially Scarlet Witch could end up on the team. But we'll get back to her soon enough. But with that said, the fact that we got both Green Goblin and Carnage, two Spider-Man villains on the Doctor Doom team, is pretty crazy. Not only because it gives two villains to Spider-Man, and then we only have Doctor Doom, who can be an Avengers-like threat, and, of course, Magneto, who is usually an antagonist to the X-Men. But why was there no villain chosen for Ghost Rider? This is very interesting that we didn't get a villain that kind of opposes the Ghost Rider team. Now, what that exactly entails, I'm not entirely sure, but we're definitely going to dig into who's gonna be on Ghost Rider's team, because this is our last chance to find out who's left. And we already have some of the hints that we've discussed prior, which you can look at more in depthly on some of my other videos that I'll have linked at the end of this one. But we'll use those hints that have yet to be utilized to guess the final team. Let's dive into who's left for Ghost Rider. Now, as we can see here, we have our pre-established teams. So, let's figure out who's left. Now, there were some leaks that had been confirmed due to not only this recent trailer of Doctor Doom's team, but also in the previous trailer for the Avengers, in which we got Black Panther. Because in that leak, which I mentioned, I go over more in depthly on one of the previous videos, which you can check out at the end of this one, Wakanda was a stage teased. Thus, we got Black Panther. And in that same leak, Magneto was present as a listed character, and he was just proven to be actually in the game, making these leaks feel far more legit, which raises a few questions, because there's also a couple of stages on there that haven't really gotten a lot of representation yet. Hellfire Gala was a stage mention, so was the Sanctum Sanctorum, which would usually hint at Doctor Strange being one of the team members left. But there is another character who has some ties to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and that is the Scarlet Witch. And she just so happens to be part of that character list that was leaked alongside the name of Magneto. With both Black Panther and Magneto now being proven to be in the game, thanks to teases from those leaks, I think it's a surefire bet she's in the Ghost Rider team. Because now she's the only character that hasn't shown up that was directly name dropped in the leaks I've talked about before. But not only that, she also had a pretty big reference. And that reference was on this image right here with the magic wand. Now, I initially thought she would end up with Doom because of the magic wand hovering above his hand, but that didn't seem to be the case. It seems to be a hint for Ghost Rider's team. So Wanda, Scarlet Witch, seems pretty surefire bet she's on that team. But what of these other hints? The roasting marshmallow, the duck, and this little shield here. Now, I initially thought this referenced Captain America, but the star is the wrong color. So who is left that these could hint at? But these are the characters I think are coming thanks to these little hints of the marshmallow and the duck and the shield that haven't been utilized yet. And those characters are Deadpool. The roasting marshmallow is a pretty surefire bet reference to him. If you want to find out more about that, check out that video I mentioned earlier that'll appear at the end of this one. But that leaves us with the duck and the circle with the red star. Now, initially I thought Deadpool, but the fact that the roasting marshmallow and a duck are together, I'm thinking Arxis is gonna go really wacky with this and combine the duck with the Deadpool, giving us Deadpool the Duck, which is a fusion of Deadpool and Howard the Duck. And I think Arxis is just crazy enough to give us this kind of wacky pick. And it covers both the roasting marshmallow and the duck symbolism we've got as hints on that image I just showed you. But then, who is the final character? Well, that red star inside the circle, I've only found one character who matches up with that on occasion. And that character is the Winter Soldier. So this is what I think our Ghost Rider team is going to look like. Now, that red star could just be a red herring and not be a direct tease to who's coming and just could be a random doodle on there. But even if that's the case, I think Scarlet Witch and Deadpool the Duck are pretty good guesses. I mean, it could end up just being Howard the Duck and Deadpool alongside Scarlet Witch, which would be pretty wild. But if I was to pick, I would definitely throw Blade here over the Winter Soldier any day. But with the hints present in that image I showed you, I'm not so sure Blade's gonna make it into the base roster now. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was part of the first wave of DLC, because he's one of those characters, alongside Daredevil, who is highly requested in a fighting game who has yet to appear in one. So these are my predictions for the last 3 characters of Marvel Tokon for the base 20 character roster for the Ghost Rider team. That being Scarlet Witch, some variant of Deadpool, potentially Deadpool the Duck, and the Winter Soldier. Or maybe some surprise like Blade, or even Elsa Bloodstone, which would also make me very happy. But I guess we'll see. It seems that potentially at the end of the month of June, of 2026, we will get the final trailer revealing the Ghost Rider team. So we only have to wait till Evo Vegas at the end of this month. So we'll see what our predictions bring, but this is my final guess for who's coming to Marvel Tokon prior to the DLC. Alright, with that said, Mr. Howry, out.